For you right now.
I just unmuted.
You stay anytime. Or two or. I have 11.
Want Milton to see it.
The clock. Yeah, the clock is wrong.
Don't.
It's 11 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. We are calling this policy meeting to order. It is 11 o'clock on the dot. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So. We need to do roll call.
Steve X.
I am here.
Steve Nicholas. I'm also here. For the record, trustee Heather. It was not.
Okay. So then we don't need to go through all of the teleconference stuff. Do we have any changes in the order of business? All right. So next up is 6, acceptance of the minutes of the March 3rd meeting, which is way back in the distant past. So I'm going to take a minute. Okay. All right. I'll second that.
Can just take the, since it's just the two, yeah.
Okay. And are there any public comments?
So the vote.
Oh, I thought you already, I thought you assumed it. Aye.
Aye.
Since she moved it and I seconded it.
I think just for the record.
Okay.
We should just.
All right. Right. Are there any public comments? No. Okay. All right. Let's move on to reports and information items. 3.1 is administrative procedures.
So the policy committee has to take the administrative procedures at the same time as the policy, so they have been provided to you in order of.
Thank you.
In the back of the policy. Well,
Thank you. Yeah, we like to have them linked together. All right, so we're up to 4.1, which is back to you, Kim, the Policy and Procedures Committee update.
So we have a schedule. I did provide a brand new schedule that gives you the what has happened as of recently, because our 29th meeting was not held, so.
Right.
Anyways, we are working on finishing chapter 4, and we are beginning, the subject matter area leaders are finishing up some of the annual reviews that they have been working on, as well as chapter 5, subject matter leaders of student services. VPs, they have been through and finishing up that as well. So we have a new update that came from CCLC, so I'll be starting that review cycle,
Okay.
going through this.
Is it very extensive or is it
Not
minor this time?
as the previous one, because that was for accreditation under changes, so that's the largest one we've had. But we will be giving another one out after. I want to wait till after our CCLC conference, so that if there's any information I need to be able to share with the subject matter area leaders after you review it, I can then provide that information to them.
Okay, and just for the record, you said we're doing 4 and 5, and what are those?
Chapter 4 is our instruction areas, so that covers all of our instruction, policies and procedures. And chapter 5 is student services based policies and procedures. And on the deck, since we have some fiscal people here, is our. I'm just kidding.
On their way. Okay. Coming up. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at 4.2 then, board policy first reading preview. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 first readings. Let me skip ahead.
Page 18. Okay.
So we don't have to vote on these.
You don't have to vote on them. If there are any revisions that you may have on any of them, we would then need to take those to the board for approval, especially if there's a administrative procedure revision.
Okay. So the first one is 4010 academic calendars.
Yes.
Do you have any comments on that one, Jenny?
Don't have comments until 4025.
Okay. I had one, it says that the college presidents, after consultation with relevant groups outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. Is it and shall submit? I'm confused in we have it crossed out. Oh, and ensuring collegial conversation with constituent groups. I wondered if we could just simplify it and say the college presidents, after consultation and collegial conversation with relevant groups outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, shall submit to the chancellor and board of trustees.
I think we did that because there's a specific in the YFA contract, there is specific language of who is supposed to be responsible for the academic calendar. But I don't want to get into the negotiation portion, but
Right.
that's on the docket. So it may change where, additional groups are added, but they wanted to make sure this was added to ensure that the presidents, through whichever
Right.
venue they do it, whether it's college council or they have individual meetings with the association leaders, that they are sharing the information or as it relates to the academic calendar
contract.
to those that aren't part of the contract. So this goes into like our CSEA presidents, the Senate presidents.
Right.
LTAC.
And I'm not taking that out of
Yeah,
this. I wasn't
yeah,
removing that. I
Yeah,
hope that was clear.
yeah, no, I got.
I was just moving collegial conversation up above, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, I think what they were trying to do is ensure that they do what the contract says first, and then they're adding
Okay.
that. And to ensure they wanted to make sure that it was on the responsibility of the president to do that extra.
Right.
To ensure that.
Okay,
So,
that's
I
fine.
mean, we could rearrange it, but we just want to make sure we're according to the contract.
Okay, and then I had my only other question on these was, on the academic calendar, is that something that also includes negotiating when graduation is?
Yes, they are responsible for selecting that day for graduation.
Okay, and is the board of trustees included at all in this discussion or just
It's just.
people under contract?
So
With
we're
bargaining
gonna,
contracts.
yeah, we're gonna bring it up with this negotiation that we would like faculty to attend graduation and institute day. But that is something we're putting forward.
As a negotiation?
Yeah, and negotiate, because technically we can recall faculty according to the contract 3 days. We just have to give 3 days and we can recall the faculty, but we want it to be collegial and say,
Right,
can we make it where this is part of your professional development that you will be back for institute day and graduation?
okay. I was just curious, because I know there's some of the trustees have been concerned about having graduation at Columbia and MJC on the same day.
Yeah.
And so they've wanted to be part of the conversation, say, hey, we'd like to come to 2 graduations. Can we space them Friday, Saturday, and, maybe alternate or whatever?
I think we've been talking it for years. It's really this body. It's really the policy body to say, okay, what is the recommendation? If it is, then you split up 1 day each or whatever it is. And then it's up to our president to share with the constituent group, myself with district council and say, this is the request from the board policy. And you can have a discussion for that because I think action needs to take. And it always, if you want to change it to a policy, then it start with this group. If that's
Okay.
what we want to do, but.
Well, then my question about this 4010 then is, should we put in here somewhere that the board doesn't have any power per se, but at least has a voice in this conversation.
So I think that last sentence saying with Marshall adopted, because every November, those calendars come to the board. So if there is an issue with the calendar dates, the board as a whole can then determine, like, we are not in favor of, something
Right,
and
right.
pull it or move it forward with this.
Well, I get that, but if we had a voice ahead of time, then it doesn't seem like we're coming in at the last minute and pulling the rug out from under a process that's already gone on. And so if we can just say, hey, there's this desire here, could you consider it ahead of time?
I think they have,
Saying-
I think they've heard the board request that there be two separate. There's been, some comments about, well, how many board members are attending and is it for the board or is it for the families and the students? And so all of that, those conversations have taken place.
Yeah.
But the request has ultimately been to leave it as is. Because
Right.
if we change it, let's say to a Friday and a Saturday, then it also encompasses overtime for employees. And so,
Well, it's at two colleges, 2 days, but anyway,
And I
so,
think
but the conversation has been happening. It does take place when the academic calendars are being reviewed.
And I think it's really the responsibility of the trustee. I mean, I'm sorry, the responsibility of the chancellor after the calendar meeting to share with the trustee, this is what came out of the conversation. For that, this is requested that whether this ABC holiday be a permit holiday, and I think that would be the role of the chancellor to share with the trustee.
Okay.
So you're aware of it, and then
right,
based on that Friday letter, the trustee can say, well, can I hear more about this? Can I,
Right.
just like the club. So
right,
that I will give an update.
Okay,
Great. When, from our last meeting.
Mhm. Okay, 40/20. Did I skip it?
No, I just wanted to make sure there's no changes to academic.
Well, Jenny, what do you think?
I don't think it changes the intent, so it's fine to stay.
Okay. 40/20. Any comments?
I do not.
40/25.
Yes.
What I thought.
On policy, so my comment is on the backside, row 24, 25.
Mhm.
And so my comment there, on the front side, row 25, we say such as the ability, row 26 on the front, to think critically and to communicate clearly, and we go on. Once we get to the backside, row 24, 25, it says that the college shall ensure the philosophy and criteria established are implemented. So I felt a little bit of a conflict because we give a such as on the front side, but once we get to the back side, I feel like maybe it's suggesting that all of them are required. And so I just wanted to bring up the such as, and maybe there's a way that we include a such as on the back side. Perhaps it's not a concern, but it struck me.
College presentation. I think that's saying that whatever they are, whatever the such as turns out to be,
But that's what
Gonna
we
implement.
Okay, and I'm fine with that.
That's,
Yeah.
assume it.
Is that
Yeah.
how others would interpret that?
It looks to me like it's suggestions.
On the front?
Yeah.
I agree with that, but come the back, I want to make sure that it's the suggestions that are implemented and not the entire list.
That's the way I read it. Yeah.
So I take, when I see that are established by the Board of Trustees in board policy, I think that you all are setting the precedent where they're looking for. So I would take the such as being the guiding, and that these are just two of the topics that they're picking. But I mean, I want to yield to Patrick, because this is you all's area. Do you have any suggestions, or do you think it should, something that needs to be pulled? Or more further, like suggested revisions to that, or is it okay? I say it would be okay, but I don't want to take that away from the.
Do you have, Jenny, do you have, or trustee Nicola, do you have recommended language? No.
No, I
You
just
just want
I
to make
think
sure
it's
to like.
You know, when I read these, oftentimes I'm like, is there anything that feels in conflict? No, it just popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Among the Kevin, it's like a
It seems like the front side is
suggestibility thing.
the policy and then the final statement is just saying that the board will enforce what is in that list on the front side of the page. So it seems clear to me.
Okay. You're fine, Leslie?
Yeah.
Okay. And we can move on.
I mean, the issue is we have to be clear, then the presidents ensure that that philosophy and criteria that we've been clear about in other places
Is what
will
is
be
implemented.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this is one that's really heavily under that 10+1, so you got the academic senate involvement. So altogether, everybody needs to be on the same page before whatever they're, presenting forward. So.
Okay.
It's like the such as, so.
I like it too.
Yeah, give you the items and
There's
if there's any additional item, but I'd like the such as and the fact to say you will.
Okay, so
implement.
then within the AP also 4025.
Hmm?
This was just a comment I wrote to myself. So I'm now looking at within what section, well, I did it off the old one. So section 3, part 5. So the sentence is the college's academic senates may require additional locally approved general education areas.
Page 32, it's the same page numbers. They're
Okay.
gonna be the same page. Okay, so for the public, it's page 32 of, page 3 of 4 for the public and page 32 of 68 for the.
And what line again?
19?
19.
College's academic senates may require. I just wanted to gut check that one. The comment I wrote to myself is, how do they have this power? And it's probably a 10+1 sort of thing, but that one jumped out at me and I just wanted to make sure I understood it. Yep.
Is that,
What does that mean, locally approved general education areas?
So it's a process that happens through consultation with the committees.
Yeah,
Committee at each college discusses requirements and has agreed on what the requirements for locally approved Modesto Junior College associate degrees will be.
Or CTE Pacific too, because the Senate might not be aware if there is on the job train or lab hour or even supervision, like 1 student to 12, so you always have a check and balance, like curriculum say one thing, Senate say one thing. Then in my past experience, it's the dean responsible to make sure that it's stick and then ultimately the VP of instruction. So that's what they're really saying locally, we need to make sure it's.
So if we determine locally that we wanted to do physical education, it's not required anymore, that could be a local decision.
Yes.
to make.
Yeah.
And so the academic senate push that, say we demand that happen.
Through the curriculum body, yes.
Yeah.
good.
Or if they want to
Like if we
redo.
had a health initiative or something like that, is that what you're talking?
Well,
I guess
what's interesting is.
That's the hear all say all group for adding. I think that's what struck me on that
Yeah, I'm
one.
with you there.
Okay,
Yeah,
It felt like, I love the checks and balances comment. It felt like there needed, that one just surprised me.
It
and
is
requires in my.
Okay.
but is it one of those things where they have primary control or just that they're consulted?
primary.
Primary.
Well, sort of, and
There's 2 sides to that card.
So for example, I'll say this, when I was a dean, a faculty had a class that was 5 units, right? And the student wasn't passing. So we as a dean, I say, you need to break the class into units. They have the right to decide how they break it up, but students are not finishing. So then they broke it up in 3 and 2. So when they broke in 3 and 2, right? They gotta get curriculum approved, then the college council approve, then the catalog approve, right? So it's a give and take, but ultimately, the dean still administratively say, this is what I think is best for the curriculum, whether the curriculum decide that's their purview. So that's pretty much what we're talking about. You can initiate it, but we always say you can decide how you want to do it. Because some faculty, can you imagine, say, well, this class only 1 unit. Well, no, if CTE required that you have 30 hours, it can't be 1 unit. That's pretty much what it is local.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, it is what it is, and the backup way of saying that fancier is 10+1.
And I think that refers back to trustee Nicolau, that last sentence in the policy where it's talking about the procedures to provide for appropriate academic senate involvement. It's like you're gonna need to make sure that at the end of the day, you're gonna have to clear it. Yeah, you all have to all be in alignment.
Okay. Thank you again for discussing that.
Thank you for bringing it up.
They still have to be in alignment with transfer requirements and all the other, it's not like they're in a vacuum there. They've got ed code and everything else too. Okay.
I'm fine again, Leslie, until 4227. So if you have,
Well, let's look at them. Okay, so graduation requirements for degrees and certificates, this is 4,100. Seems like minor changes there. Nothing there. Okay. Work 4103 is work experience education. We just added the word education.
Yes, it's all. This one is going back to, I believe, accreditation, we need it moves on a workforce, work experience. And so these changes they've been asking for these changes to come through for a while now.
Right. And I think they changed the number of hours that equal a unit of work experience. Okay. All in favor of work experience? All right, distance and correspondence education.
I actually did have one on this one, on the AP.
When I think of correspondence education, I think of mail.
Yeah.
You know, the old days, it's like, yeah, well, no, you used to. Yeah.
I misspoke. I said this is the one I was talking about for accreditation, but the work experience has been in the works for a long time to get it changes. So let me clarify that for the record. Don't come back to Kimberly Gibbs with nothing.
Okay.
So question on 41.
This is AP, page 48. I'm looking at rows 11 in conflict with 22. And I think we just need to talk it through. I think I'm missing it. So where I got caught up, row 11, it has to do with, it says process in place to protect student privacy and estimated additional student charges. So I got caught up on the charges part because row 21 and then to 22 says there shall be no additional student charges associated. Maybe it's the verification part. Got caught up on the money within those two parts. One saying like, here's the estimated, and then later it says no additional charges, but maybe they're different types of charges. Row 11 and row 22.
I see the conflict.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So I can speak to row 22.
Okay.
It relates to processes that the California Community College Chancellor's Office may be doing as it relates to CCC by and trying to verify that each and every student that's applying is a real person and not a bot. What's interesting, what we've actually heard from them is I think that they might want to charge a super small fee because then you have to use a credit card and then we can verify that that credit card is correct. So if that ever comes to be, we'd have to come back and look at changing this. So,
Well, is it a law that there shall be no additional student charges, or is that us?
to protect student privacy, well, I'm not part of these changes. I have to imagine some of these are CTIC.
And they could be wrong, and that's why we have the one here to try to add the question, answers to it. What I read in 10 through 11, 10 to 12 is that last part, if any. And then it's basically saying what the district is required to do at the time of registration. This is what you're required to do, and you're supposed to alert the student of any additional charges at that time, if there are any. Down below, it's telling you that the district has a process and there are no charges. That's the way I read it.
Yeah. So this is a discussion that's happening right now at the chancellor's office about whether or not we would adopt, I think, a actual piece of software that would verify the identity of a student. The most common one that's in the industry is called ID.me. You've probably heard of that one. So if, say, we were to, as a district, adopt a platform and there was a cost to us, what this would say is we're not going to pass that cost on to the students. I think that's the way I would read it. It's in an effort to prevent the fraud that's happening. So that
It
is,
is confusing. You can see how it just mirror each other. I don't know, we need a little bit, I don't know the language, but I can
I
see.
think that last little, that comma, if any, is letting you know if there are this, you're supposed to tell them up at the time of registration. And then it's saying specifically, shall establish a process and procedures to protect student privacy. There shall be no additional student. It's letting you know immediately that there aren't going to be any. But we can.
Even though it says at the time of registration.
And
With verification of student identity at the time of registration.
yeah, to me, it
Yeah.
sounds like that it is contradictory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who made these edits?
This is the whole, it was a whole committee.
And
They provide this one or no? Or should-
Can someone maybe suggest a better way to just make it clear? I'm not trying to change the intent, but
Well, when I look at how much software costs and licensing fees and all that stuff, this could be a big cost, right, Lucas?
I mean, it could be if we were to adopt a solution like this, unless the chancellor's office makes it available to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an unknown.
They've been doing subsidizing it though. They haven't been fully paying for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and then we get stuck with the cost.
I just hate for something to happen. Some student finds this AP and they turn to whomever, and it's up to the discretion of the one person to try to interpret it. I'd like this one to be a little more clear.
I almost feel like we shouldn't say up front that there won't be any additional fees until we know what we're doing.
Maybe put that, we'll tell them about it before they. That's, I think, the spirit of that first paragraph.
I like the 10 through 12 and the question.
Be no additional
Can you
fees.
strike the last sentence in
I
22?
mean.
Yeah, that's kind of,
Seems nice.
So if you mind.
that's what I think, because we're locking ourselves into something where we don't know what the costs are gonna be yet. And we do know there's a lot of fraud. You know?
I would suggested perhaps we could just strike line 22 and then we're still covered, that we'll tell them if there's any cost up front.
Yeah,
The districts are responsible. Yeah,
Yeah. We're not locking ourselves in,
Yeah.
and I know we'll
There's
make,
still freedom and flexibility within that.
that's what I recommend.
That's a good way to deal with it.
We're covered by if,
So it just vague.
covered by if any, yes.
Yeah,
up above.
okay. Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'll start to say that at work a lot more.
If-
Any.
Okay. Good catch.
Thanks again.
So this is a change to, revision to AP, so this will be listed in the November and,
Right. 4227 repeatable courses.
None.
There's one row 17. I was just surprised that you could only repeat it if you get a C or better. So if you get an F or D, you are stuck.
That doesn't make any sense. The ones you want to repeat are the ones you got a D or an F.
So I just want someone really important to tell me that that's true.
What line is that?
17.
Yeah.
AP, row 17.
Yeah, AP, thank you.
Oh, under special circumstances. So sometimes a student is going into a program where in order to be accepted, they need to have an A or a B. So that's why a C is just not good enough if maybe you're trying to transfer and it's your major and you've got.
So normal circumstances, you could repeat an F or a D.
Right.
Okay,
And thank you, that's true.
Right.
thank you for that.
If you got a C and
The power of
And
that
then nursing, and you need that one course to graduate and do your clinic things you can't.
yeah.
No changes.
No changes?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Mhm.
So I got that all. I really need A in this. I know Patrick got that too. Okay. Student success and support program, 50-50. Any comments there?
Happy?
Like happy. So we just added C on the administrative procedure.
And some language, some minor changes on page 61 and page 203.
Well, I like that we're paying attention to transfer.
Mhm.
That students will be placed in an associate degree for transfer and ADT if one exists for their majors. Having transferred from here, having had issues. Just everybody has different requirements.
Language, yeah. And
I'm sorry?
did you say you have some language on 61?
No, she said there was only, I'm sorry. Trustee Beggs mentioned that it was only a change on adding C, and I said there was additional language changes on page 61. And I said page 203.
Okay.
So they're minor.
By language learning.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So we're not saying English language learning instead of English as a second language. That's okay, because English could be your third language. Okay, holidays. Holidays shall be determined in accordance with the Ed Code. What's new here? Nothing?
This is just, it's connected to 4010 because every time we talk about the academic calendar, if there's any changes, we have to make that change in holidays. But also it is to, include the board's decision to close on Cesar Chavez Day and Native American Day. So we had to address that.
Right.
The only
So we changed the numbering. Okay. Anything else?
Great meeting.
The next Board Policy Committee standing meeting will be held on Monday, December 1st at 11 a.m. in this room at the Yosemite Community College District. This meeting is now over at 11:33.
Thank you.